Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
What time is it?
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Now Myers to win the league, yes!
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Where was thunder?
Well, hello and welcome to the Below the Rim show, a show dedicated to the BBL. It's me, Pabs. I'm joined as always by my main man, Ads. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. Just in from a National League under-14s game, but yeah. I'm okay.
Were you victorious?
No, it was actually the Battle of the Titans of under-14s girls. It was Mystics 1 versus Mystics 2. My daughter played for 2. And won, unfortunately, but it was a bloody great game.
Good. Glad to hear it. And we're also joined by the media guru that is Mr. Paul Nicholson. How are you, sir?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Oh, you're chugging away on a...
Really bad timing to take a sip of lemonade then.
Oh, I thought it was cream soda for a minute.
No, it's beer. I'm joking. I'm good. I'm good. Just busy Monday as always. Getting everything ready for the game on Wednesday and the game on the weekend and games gone by and everything else. But no, good.
Looking forward to Wednesday. It should be fun. We've got a few things to talk about tonight. One or two things, shall we say. The new CEO, we'll have a chat about that. Eagles lose again. Scorchers almost take the Riders, but don't come away with a win over the weekend at all. Flyers lose at home, which I don't think any of us were expecting necessarily. We'll do our BTR players selection as well. We'll pick 5 guys and we'll do some predictions at the end and check where we are in terms of the leaderboard. Let's kick things off, however. Pretty much in Ads' neck of the woods. We want to talk a little bit about the Giants. Giants lost at the weekend to the Lions. That's 3 on the bounce now for the Giants losing. Now, what I want to talk about specifically is the kind of reaction to it. There was an awful lot of reaction in the Discord channel. There was some reaction to it online as well regarding how average the Giants look at the moment. I have a take on it. We'll get to that. But let's go to you first, Ads, because it's the Giants. It's your guys. What you got to say about that?
Well, it's as simple as this. I don't think anybody foresaw just what an impact William Lee was having on things. And since he's not been around, we've lost 3 games. It's as simple as that. And I mean, it was a tough game against London. Sort of hung in there with them for a little bit. But it was nowhere near as close as the last game. And obviously, I think it might have even been against London that he actually got injured, I think.
It was. The last time he played was against London.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird because if you look down the roster, you should be thinking to yourself, we're fine. We've got a deep enough roster. There's enough talent on there. There's enough scorers. The problem that we've got is that by his own admission, Vince is not a defensive-orientated guy, as we know. When you're playing against a team that's going to gun at you like London, you kind of got to be. And you can't just seemingly rely on the one guy in William Lee again being your main guy on defense. Offense, I'm not too worried about because they can still obviously hit baskets. They've got plenty of options there. But it's just defense. It just doesn't seem there without William Lee. And it's annoying because it should be because you've got enough size to put in there. I'd like to see Legend play more. I really would. I mean, the guys, obviously I've seen him up close. The guy's a legitimate, one of the only legitimate true that could be a true 5 in the league.
He's a big boy,
Yeah, he's a 7-footer. This guy, and he's built. And,
I will say this for him though. When you guys came to Plymouth, he looked like he was carrying an injury, and not a minor one. He was labouring big time. He had support on his, I think it was his right knee. I can't remember. He had a support on his knee. He spent the entire warm up with the physio,
Yeah.
And then he ran out for as long as he could at a time. He fouled. I think he was glad to foul out in the end and sort of hobbled off to the bench. But I don't think he's 100%.
Maybe not. But I mean, I just so far this season, his minutes haven't been as high as I'd kind of wanted him to be, because you know, when you get the ball into him in the high post, there's not a lot you can do with a guy that size. And plus, he's the kind of guy that you just want under the basket with his arms in the air, blocking everybody out and drawing offensive fouls and whatnot. Yeah, just filling the lane out. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to have to regroup and figure it out, because I don't think anyone knows when Lee's coming back, to be honest.
No.
December's kind of quiet, but January is insane.
Yeah, you said that.
5 games in January, so they're going to have to hope that he's either back or just readjust somehow. But I mean, it's like I say, what do you do with a team that relies so much on offense when you lose arguably your best defender on the team?
Mr. Nicholson, sir?
I think there's been like a bit of an overreaction on it, because are you going to miss a guy that gets 17 a game, 10 rebounds a game, and 4 blocks a game? Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. So are you going to lose a couple of games while that's out? Yeah, obviously. Like, this is the BBL. The BBL can change like in a heartbeat. We're playing each team 4 times this season. Teams can rely on 1 or 2 guys in odd games to get it done. If you put William Lee on any team from third down, are they going to be better? Yes. Are they going to miss a guy who has a double-double a game plus 4 blocks? Well, it's just obvious. Of course they are. You're taking away their biggest threat. They're going to lose a couple of games because of that. It's just obvious. If he comes back in January or whenever, they'll be fine again, because they've got enough time to be fine again. If he's fit for the playoffs, are they a team that could go deep into the playoffs? Yes.
100%, yeah.
You know, are Manchester worried about falling out of the playoffs? Nope. Like, you know, I think it's just too early for anyone to panic. You know, you've got the like of Dirk Williams, Fletch. If you get a legend fit, then he's dangerous. You know, I would question, why does he start and then not play so much minutes? If you're going to limit his minutes, maybe you bring him in spells rather than start the guy. It's probably the only thing I would say on that. But I think it's a bit of an overreaction. I think if Lee's out for the season, it's a problem. If he's back in January or February, no issues whatsoever.
I'd agree. The thing with me was the overreaction towards saying that they look very average against the Lions, which we fell into that trap early in the season. Well, yeah, but we fell into that trap early in the season when the Riders faced them. We said that this was the least amount of rotation we've seen in a Riders team. This was, you know, not the best recruited Riders team we'd seen, because they played the Lions, and we then subsequently learned that, you know, Riders pretty much went on a run after that, and they've looked back maybe once or twice since. But any team that faces the Lions is going to look average. And like you say, William Lee, I've just looked it up. He's in the top 10 for 7 different league-leading stats, including points, assists. He leads the league in rebounds, leads the league in defensive rebounds. He's like 5th in steals. I mean, these are defensive categories, like you say, Ads, on a team that doesn't play defense.
But then the question would be, are Manchester adaptable enough for other players to play defense?
Well,
because then you could possibly question the recruitment side of it and say, okay, if you're going to have a team of scorers, you're going to need more than one defensive player. And we know they've got guys that can play defense.
Yeah.
You know, do they need to get more out of Dirk this season? I think so.
Yeah.
I think they need more.
He's gone quite quiet, hasn't he? Yeah.
I think they need more from Legend. And do they need to step up and play a bit of defense? Well, yeah, maybe they do.
Well, I mean, the guy that we've all agreed that we like is Roberson, who kind of quietly goes about his business.
Yeah,
but maybe he needs to be the guy to step up. It's like I said, you're not worried about the team in terms of points and service, because obviously Fletcher's going to give service every night of the week, and Dirk's going to score points. I was hoping that Dirk's scoring average would be nearer to the sort of 20 a game, but then when you've got Taj Green and William Lee up there averaging that, it is difficult to kind of have three guys averaging 20 points a game. But at the moment, Dirk does probably need to add some more firepower. Starts hitting those threes or shooting even more threes. And
yeah,
I don't know. I like Paul said, I'm not worried. I don't think it's like, oh, we're in the trouble, we're in it now. I just think that Vince has got to realign everything and obviously look at how long Lee's going to be out for.
Well, there's a suggestion that he'd be back because I would have thought Vince would have dipped into the market again. If there was any chance he wasn't coming back, he'd be looking to maybe replace.
Yeah, maybe.
But he hasn't done that as such, which would suggest he although he'd be out for a while, he'd be coming back.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I want to touch on the Lions briefly before we move on as well, because I feel like I have to defend myself a little bit. When I made the bold statement I usually make, which I know Josh Betts doesn't necessarily agree with. I feel personally that if they don't win every competition, it's not disastrous, but it's really disappointing. And the word is spread that money. Obviously, they're the richest team in the league, but money doesn't buy you wins. I have a take, but Nicholson's rolling his eyes. Go on, son.
If money decides who wins something, what is the point in playing sport? Right? Because then you just go, oh, we're going to lose the richest team. I'm out. Right? The table doesn't look like what the budgets look like per team right now. These are athletes. They're all competitive. They all play at a high level. They all want to win.
I'd argue it's not far off. Lions, Flyers. Flyers are affluent. Lions are obviously very affluent. Riders have been consistently one of the better teams. Sharks have got a lot of money this year. That's the top four.
Do you know that? The Sharks the fourth biggest budget in the league?
Sharks had buyers come in this season, yeah. And promises of a new arena. Caledonia are creeping up there as well.
Newcastle
down the bottom, but is that down to funding or recruiting?
Well, we're looking at the Manchester team we just talked about. One player can make a difference. All right, this is what I'm saying. Like,
but in the Lions' case, they could lose one, and it would make a difference.
Yeah, but they're designed to win games in Europe, and they are starting to do that. They're going to naturally win games in the BBL whilst resting guys. They haven't. There's not many games they've played with their full strength roster in the BBL as of yet, because they haven't needed to. Because I don't think they care about winning every game. They just care about winning those games at the end.
Sure.
They'll get to finals. They will get to playoff position.
In all fairness, they should be winning them as well.
Yeah, I think so. They got the talent to do it. They got the resources to do it. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. But I don't think winning every game.
No, well, we know they're not going to do that
who they are.
They haven't won every game. But if they don't win every competition, that's what I said. It's disappointing.
I think you've got a load of other teams who are going to have something to say about it. I think there's on any given night, it takes a quality player to have a great night, and it takes players to have a bad night for maybe some good scouting games and whatever else.
My only thing extra to that is that the comparison's always made that obviously the richest clubs don't always win everything, for example.
Well, no, they don't, no.
And the comparison to that is maybe the Premiership, where you look at Leicester and what they did, where you look at Arsenal top of the table, they haven't spent anywhere near as much money as Man City or Chelsea or whatever.
There's so many quality players out there at a high level.
Hang on. The difference is, and there's a huge difference, is that in the situation of the Premiership and every other professional league that I'm aware of, possible exception of Paris Saint-Germain, because of the way things are out there and how they've been bought out by the Qatari owners in a corrupt way, but we won't get into that because that's a different thing altogether, is that multiple players on that Lions roster are worth entire rosters in the BBL.
They're worth what someone's willing to pay for them, yes.
And we're not, regardless of that, they're worth... Do you know what I mean? There's one single player. There's multiple players that their single salary is worth more than the team in second place. Let's say the Bristol Flyers. That's insane when you look at it. And as a result, they should win all the competitions.
And I'm sure they're aiming to. And I'm sure they're going to.
I still think they will. I just think if they don't, it's disappointing.
Not far off.
Yeah.
But it takes one final to go swing a different way. It takes one scoring run. One shooting slump to change. It's basketball's a cruel game.
Finals are a funny old thing. You never know. Do you know what I mean? Perhaps you remember all those times that Chester used to do things in finals out of nowhere, and teams like that. You just never know. And,
first time Leicester got to the playoffs, they did it from 8th. No one expected them to win the playoff finals with 5 men.
London, like I'd said from the start, are beatable. They've lost 2, and I'm sure that they're going to lose a couple more before the season's out. Now, any team that gets into one of the finals of the Cup or the Trophy against them is a banana peel. You know what I mean? If someone turns up on the day,
sure.
You know, there's a lot of teams gunning for London, you know, because they'll be feeling it. You know, teams... Your Manchesters, your Cheshires, your Sheffields, you know what I mean? The Plymouth, they're looking at it.
It takes a couple of missed assignments, you know, a couple of missed assignments. Oh, you know, someone doesn't close Green out a couple of times in a row. Someone doesn't force Fletcher into his right hand, you know, and things like that change games. Boom.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get a momentum swing in a final, it could be game over.
But they are. It's like you said, Pabs. To me, that they are the Manchester City of the BBL. You know, all of a sudden they get these rich owners, and money becomes no object. And you know, if you remember the Man City thing, which I do because I was going to the match at the time, it went from you know, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
the quality of player. You know, you're going from one of my favourite players, the GOAT,
Sean Goater,
to Aguero, David Silva. You know,
Robinho, wasn't it? 1 year,
Robinho. You know, it was crazy, and it's kind of like that again. I mean, London have always had a reasonable budget, and they've always brought in big players. Yeah, but it's like you said, Pabs. You know, Ovi's earning more money singularly than the whole roster of most of the BBL.
And I'd imagine the NBA guys, they're not going to take too much of a pay cut.
Exactly. And Ovi's probably not the highest paid player on that team.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you've got to be looking at guys like Luke Nelson, who I imagine are probably not that far behind.
But the point is, I'm not questioning whether or not that's viable or not. All I'm saying is if they don't win it all, it's got to be disappointing. Has to be.
Of course, I think they'll be disappointed. Of course they have, because they've put it all into it. But I think,
however Europe goes, if you don't conquer the domestic side of things, I don't think. I mean, the historians among us will immediately liken them to Kingston Kings, and they did win everything except for one thing, and it was a very similar setup. They were built for Europe.
Yeah, I think one thing I want to commend it on though is how they've actually this group of individuals that they've brought in, they have gelled them very, very well.
Absolutely,
they're playing some fantastic basketball,
sharing the minutes as well. Yeah,
they're sharing the minutes. There doesn't seem to be any egos. They're doing it on the court. They're doing it off the court by the looks of things as well.
Yes,
but this is basketball. This is the reason we all play and watch sport and get involved in this sort of thing, is because on any given night, anything can happen. And that's why we love it, right?
Absolutely.
And that's why we love it. But yeah, I think I get what you're saying. But I don't think they're investing that money just purely to get success this year. I think there's a lot more of a long-term picture involved in it.
I don't agree. I think they've done it to win straight out the bat.
Well, no, obviously,
and obviously compete in Europe.
Obviously,
they want to get as far as they can in Europe.
I think there's just a lot more to it than just.
Of course, there is.
You don't invest that sort of money without
long-term.
Let's be honest, like they're not making that money back this first season.
No, of course. Well, let's be honest. I would have thought, and I don't think this is out of any kind of stretch or any stretch of the imagination to say there'll be a EuroLeague team within a couple of years because you can buy your way in.
You can, yeah.
I don't think there's any question that is kind of the goal. And once they've done that's a huge step for British basketball in general.
Yeah,
and then obviously we need the rest of the league to kind of.
And I think people will start when the opportunity arises. I think people will follow, and I think other teams will grow, and I think the league, therefore, will be in a better and more secure place.
Ideal. Should we move on? Should we put that to bed? I'm sure it will come up again at some point over the weeks.
Night.
Caledonia, 3 wins off the bounce now. Took on, obviously, the Patriots at the weekend. They're starting to look quite legit, shall we say. They had a little bit of a ropey spell, didn't they? Coming up to a kind of break they had. Some of that was attributed perhaps to scheduling. A lot of it was attributed to Ali Frazier going down. And that, again, like we've said, one player can make the difference to pretty much any team that's not London Lions. And Ali Frazier has always been a big part of I was going to say the Glasgow scene, as it is. Obviously, it's Caledonia Gladiators, but it's still in Glasgow. So the team from Glasgow. And the new boy, Burns, looks very good.
Really impressive.
And, of course, we already knew that Sloan is legit. Bailey is a very good player and is really kind of coming into his own the more this season goes on. How do we feel about Caledonia? And we'll talk about the Pats, about Caledonia game in this bit as well, because the Patriots looked like they were in control for me in the first half. Elvisi was on form. But Caledonia... What do we make of Caledonia first, fellas? Who wants to go first? Nicholson, do you want to go first?
I like them. I like what they've got, and I like how they've recruited. I like the new guy Burns. I think he fits in really, really well. Great shooter, great catch and shoot player. Sloan is legit. There's no doubt about that. He's got game. He's got offensive game. He's got defensive game. Onwaz, big fan of him. Big body.
Yeah.
Plays really, really well. Defensive presence is good. Yeah, they're a lot better with Ali Fraser on the court. There's no doubt about that. But I think as a whole, they should be trying to achieve what they're showing right now because they've got a good budget now. Yeah. We know that they've got new owners. That's why this whole thing is happening. Caledonia, right? But I think they've recruited really well. I think they've generally recruited a really good BBL team.
Mr. I was going to say Mr. Masters there. I don't know what to call you that. So ads, my man. Sorry about
that. Yeah, I agree with Paul, actually. They've put a nice team together. And look at the league table, man. They're right at 500, the same as the Giants. And I'm sort of looking at it going, well, are we better than them? And I'm going, well, we were. Yeah. But now, obviously, we're not. And and Plymouth are obviously right in that mix as well. So I think it'd be an interesting... it always is an interesting discussion what happens below first and second place. But, there's no reason why Caledonia can't do it. They could be that team that has a good run in a cup or a trophy.
Sure.
Why not? And I think, in all honesty, I think that they're a season away. I think that next season will be big for them. I think that this is the takeover season. It's much like it was for Plymouth last year. Everything's different.
Do you feel like Gareth's the sort of coach that players will want to come back and play for?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think so. He knows the league and he knows what it's like to be a player.
Exactly. He's played at the very highest level that you can play for as a GB player. And you cut him in half and he oozes Scottish, Caledonia, Glasgow, whatever you want to call it. Leave him to it. What better guy is there than a guy that knows the game like he does, knows the BBL like he does, and still has that sort of connection with it from playing recently. So, it'd be crazy to even think about replacing him.
Yeah,
he's done well so far.
He's done really well. He's recruited really well. They're a team. They're relentless. They're scorers, and that's a big thing, right? Defensively, they probably could be a little bit better, but they're in a position where they've got so many offensive threats that it's really tough to go against them.
They did look very impressive in the fourth quarter, but they rallied in the third. What impressed me against the Patriots was that I was looking through the play-by-play when I was writing the article, and it's for the local paper, so you tend not to put too much about the opposition. Maybe one key player that they've had.
Damn straight.
But I couldn't essentially pick out a key player that had a big scoring run in the third and fourth. It was Sloan, Bailey, Frazier, Burns. And then Onwaz hit a couple, and then back to Bailey again, and then Burns again. Like, it was really, they shared the ball incredibly well. And obviously Pats were in foul trouble. But I do want to say, and we haven't had a chance since it was named, Elvisi Dusha, friend of the show, Mr. November, should we say? Molten player of the month, and kept his high caliber of performances going with 24 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and played all 40 minutes and really put the Patriots on his back and kind of did what he could.
Yeah, I guess on my question to that is, should he be doing that? Should he be playing should Elvisi Dusha, not saying he's not capable or anything like that, should he be playing 40 minutes? Should he be distributing 24 points every game?
Can you attribute some of that to Troy Simons being still out?
Oh, of course, yeah. Not just Troy, and I say it nearly every podcast. Joe Hart.
Yeah.
It's everyone forgets, because he was injured at the beginning of the season and he's never been there. Everyone kind of forgets that Joe's still on this roster and everything else, and he's a solid player. He's a solid shooter. He's a solid leader. But and I say it time and time again, you miss your 2 best perimeter players, you are going to struggle.
Mm.
So you're going to have to dig deep, and you're going to have to be disciplined, and you're going to have to find something from other sources. And throughout the first 3 quarters of that game, Patriots did that. Down that fourth quarter, there was an opportunity, to knock down a few extra free throws, extend the lead early on, and they didn't do it. Whether it was tired legs, whether it was the fact that Issa came back into the game, but he's already been fouled out for most of it, like on foul trouble, so he's not fresh, and whatever the reason is, they're just, Patriots really have to put a shift in every game, especially with the numbers that they've got at the moment.
Well, that's missed 12 free throws down in key points of the game, like you said.
Yeah, I was going to say in key moments as well.
Yeah, when they already had a lead, could have built more of a lead and threatened to put the game beyond Caledonia. It's Deuce, I feel, for more than others. I don't know. I may be wrong. I'm often wrong. I'm fine with that. But to me, he feels like the only true big at the Patriots. He gets...
Yeah, you got young Sam Keita, and he's still learning his way.
Yeah, Rashad tends to get early success, and then the defense kind of collapses on him, and there's not that other second guy to kind of step up to his level and kind of contribute like he does.
He's leading the league in 2-point shots made, as well as leading the league in field goal percentage, right? So there's no question that he has a huge impact on the Patriots and how the game is going to go. And it's now up to other guys to step up in moments where he's not saying he's not there, but when he needs a break,
when he gets pinned,
like when he's double teamed or whatever, like there needs to be other options. And the kick out option to Troy Simons is something which is truly missed, because if you have him on the free line, all of a sudden you kick the ball back out, you got a 3-point threat there in Troy.
Yeah.
And then the inside outside play changes a lot.
Absolutely. Let's move on. Let's talk about. The Eagles. It's looking pretty dire for the Eagles. We said last week that when you look at the league table, and we will have I'll read it out at some point before the end of this podcast, but they are second from bottom. 2 wins, 8 losses, and they have just the 4 points. And we mentioned sort of briefly a few weeks ago when the league kind of took this shape, was this what we're looking at in terms of the final league table and these two guys being down there? But they lose again in a game that really, at home, you would have thought they maybe had a chance to pick up a win. It's against Cheshire Phoenix. Adds is that you're a big Knicks guy. They've kind of struggled a little bit this season, been in and out of favour and been in and out of consistency. But Eagles lose again. I mean, are we shocked by this? Is this something we're just getting used to now? Ads, my man?
It's not looking good, is it? It's really not looking good. I mean, they just don't seem to be clicking as a team, and they've played games. The last 5-6 games they've played have been games that to them they'll have been thinking were winnable. Playing against your Cheshires, your Plymouths, your Surreys, and just looking at the run that they've got coming in, it's not pretty, because they've got a very on form Caledonia twice. They've got Leicester. And they've got the Manchester Giants. Surrey again. It seems that you've got to be fancying beating them, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a few teams there you would have thought they'd...
Yeah. I was hoping that it was just a slump at the start of the season, but it's just not looking like it, is it? It's just not falling into place. I don't know if the recruitment just hasn't been right. They're certainly not even that entertaining to watch, I don't think.
No.
They're not even sort of putting in games where you're going, well, it was a great game and they look good. They just don't look that inspired right now. They've not got anybody. I mean, who is their top scorer? Let's have a look. They don't seem to have a scorer.
Johnson.
Is it Johnson?
Yeah, I would have thought so, yeah.
Hamlet's always the one I'm sort of... Oh, hang on. Hamlet's always the one I'm sort of always impressed with. But he didn't seem to have a very good game.
Just under 20 a game. But look at it next to that. The next guy on the sheet is down at 10 points a game.
Yeah, I kind of echo what Ads is saying.
Yeah.
It's a bit...
Donovan Johnson, I know, is a better player than he is right now.
Well, yeah.
But then it was weird with Donovan because he came into his own that year with the Giants when the other 2 Americans left. He really became an effective player after, Hexam and Brady left.
Right, yeah. He did. He was effective. Very effective.
Yeah, he became very effective. But this year, he's just not clicking.
I was alarmed. There's a couple of things I was alarmed by, and I don't think it's true. It says the attendance was only 500, and it doesn't look like there's only 500 people in there. So I'm guessing that's just they've missed a zero. No, missed a zero off. That'd be 5,000. That's probably too many. But it just says 500. But they look like there are a lot more there.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a lot more there. Yeah.
But did you guys catch the tweet in the week from their main guy?
Which one?
From the Newcastle Eagles camp.
No.
I'm gonna have to try and look it up now. But it was almost an apology that this season we're not very good, essentially.
Oh, from the owner, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did like a little press release just to sort of say, "Hey, sorry to the fans. We're trying to get better. This is what we're trying to do." So forth. That's fine. That's your standard protocol. And when things aren't going the way your fans want them to go, you want to keep them on side. You want to bring people back into the games and everything else. I'm looking at this game against Cheshire, and I'm looking for it. And what worries me if I'm a Newcastle fan is you've got Mockford, 6 points. He only took 4 shots in 23 minutes. You got Kennedy. He took 1 shot in 18 minutes.
You don't expect that, do you?
Everett, the new guy they brought in, 7 points. and only played 12 minutes, so they obviously not fancy him as much as they thought. Dens, who can definitely play. We've seen him. He's proven BBL scorer last season.
Yeah.
4 minutes. I just don't know if they figured out what they want, And then you got French who's come in, who's a legit big. Like, he's big, man. Like, he played for the Raptors G League team.
Yeah.
And he's come in and he's playing more minutes than guys that have already been there for about a month. He played more minutes than Everett. Played more minutes than Dens. Defoe still grafting out 25, 26 minutes. And, I'm sure he could do with a break.
Yeah.
As competitive as he is. I don't know if they know what their identity is as a team. They've got all these pieces and they haven't quite put them in the right holes.
Let's move on to the Scorchers at the weekend. They ran the Riders close. I know there were a few people at the time that were thinking that this may be their second win that they could potentially notch up. And what a scalp it would have been on the third. That would have been on the Saturday. What do we make of that one, fellas? Intriguing, nonetheless. Mr. Nicholson?
Yeah, you wouldn't expect him to be where they were. They won the fourth quarter 22-19. They won the third quarter 25-20. It was just a huge second quarter from Leicester, which is actually the first quarter was
first and second, yeah.
Well, yeah. But Leicester doing what Leicester doing, share the minutes, sharing the love, sharing the ball, scoring really, really well. Surrey still in that. They're kind of similar to Newcastle in a minute. They've got some talent. They definitely have talent. They haven't had the rub of the green. They put out kind of like an injury report saying pretty much what we knew anyway.
Yeah.
Not putting any dates on anyone returning or anything like that. Just kind of saying, hey, look, yeah, they're out. They'll be back soon and whatever else. But they've got talent. Like, Jefferson seems to be a good asset. He's coming in straight away. He's got 27 minutes against Leicester, scoring 15.
Yep.
He's decent. Ryan Martin, decent. Wang, decent. Johnson, decent.
Yeah.
Basumbu, decent. They've got good players. Good
bench production as well on the night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the opposite to what I was saying about Newcastle. I've seen them play. They're entertaining. They're a good team.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Paul said, they've got a bunch of good players, and I feel bad for them being way down there at the bottom. I think it's one of them where they're obviously searching for a win, but they play a more entertaining style of basketball than Newcastle do, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a consistency in the scoring from, because you look at the next game when they play Cheshire, then all of a sudden,
that was
Martin's
the next
only
point.
on 7, and then Quincy got 16, but he only single digits the game before, and then Jefferson was double digits against Leicester, but only 7 against Cheshire. It's that consistency from the guys that you potentially, if they could string a couple of games in of consistent performances, consistent scoring, then they're going to be in a lot better place.
There's an element of disappointment there, isn't there? If you're a Scorchers fan, you've just had that fantastic result against the Riders. You really would have wanted that team to sort of turn around and kick on and get something against Cheshire, who've looked pretty vulnerable as the season's gone on. They've been a little bit inconsistent. They're kind of creeping back now. They're making a bit of a little mini run as it is now. But yeah, I certainly wouldn't have expected that. I don't know about you guys.
They lost by 29 points to Cheshire.
Yeah, massive.
And Andrew Lawrence was back, but he only played 14 minutes. So
good sign. That's a very good sign, though.
That's a positive sign for Cheshire, because what they're missing is that leader, that guy, because Teo's obviously injured as well. That guy to pull them all together and say, hey, like, let's finish this game off. Let's stay in control. Let's not go off the rails. And Drew is that guy. He can do a bit of everything. So having him back is a positive thing. Hopefully he stays back and he stays fit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for the league. Might not be good for the Pats coming up, but it's good for the league.
Yeah, that's true.
Ads, my man. Riders. It's been a funny old season for the Riders. It wasn't only a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, and we were looking at them saying they really could kick on and take the league and really threaten to take the crown from the Lions, in the sense that Lions are the team to beat in that sense. But they've last couple of games they've looked a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean it's they're being pushed by teams for sure. Yeah. Obviously Cheshire pushed them, a long way. I mean, they just are what they are. They're just, every time we talk about them, we talk about what a unit they are together. You know what I mean? The way they share the ball, they share the stats, especially on scoring. I'm just looking at the team stats now, actually. I mean, no one's sort of lighting it up on the rebounding side. Darian Nelson-Henry's averaging 6 a game, which is okay. But, look at the points. You got Pat Whelan, Mark Loving, and Zach Jackson all averaging 15 a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just move together. They're a together team, and they've dropped 4 games. It's a different season. It's a different league. It's they've not got Gino Crandall. It's a different setup entirely, and they've had to make some pretty big adjustments to what they have for 2 seasons before. But it's Leicester. You know what I mean? They're going to be fine. They've got a reasonably. In fact, their run of next games is, they've got Caledonia, who obviously are in form. They've got Newcastle, Giants, London, and Surrey. So it's a bit of a mixed bag there. But if you're Leicester and Rob Paternostro, you're going, well, there's 4 games that we should win.
Yeah.
And London, we're going to, endeavour to win. And maybe that'll be the next loss for the London Lions. But don't worry about Leicester down the stretch, though. They'll be, maybe won't win the league, but they'll be around.
Interesting stat for you. You're saying about how well Leicester share the ball, and kind of share across the board, as it were. They don't feature in the top 10 for points, assists. I'm talking individual players, obviously.
Yeah.
Rebounds, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. No one in there for blocks. There's only three players. Mark Lovin features in a few categories as when you get down to sort of percentages, basically, and maybe 2-pointers made, 3-pointers made. Whelan tops that one. He's the second guy in there, and Zach Jackson's in there for field goal percentage. That is it.
Yeah. But when you look at it, you're sort of looking at it going, well, okay, 15 points a game is what you want from Patrick Whelan. Okay. You possibly want a couple more assists. With Patrick, you want something like 15 points a game, 4 or 5 assists, playing in the 2 position. Mark Loving, I want to see averaging over 20.
Yeah.
And as close to 10 rebounds a game. He for me is a William Lee type of guy. Does it at both ends. Massively effective, but it's almost like they just need somebody to take the lead in terms of scoring, and just really go, right, okay, I'm going to be that guy. It's almost like they're almost too polite to go, no, you go ahead. You average more than 15 points a game. So statistically, you're looking at it and going, yeah, you're kind of happy with it. Pat's doing what he does, and I don't think anyone can be kind of down on him saying he should be doing more because I think he's doing exactly what he's there to do.
No, he's done really well.
It's such a team. It is such a cohesive team. That's the thing.
Patrick Whelan's not the guy that's going to lead you in scoring, rebounds, and assists all at the same time. He's the guy that's going to give you solid numbers in every category.
Yeah.
And that's where you want him. But you want another guy giving you 20, 22 points a game.
Maybe fair to say as well, in the same respect, it's almost the same as how we've been talking about the Lions week in, week out. They share the minutes, they share the ball, they share the stats.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're sitting on 8 wins. 4 losses, equal with Bristol, just below London. I think they're weaker than they were last year, if I'm honest. Obviously, no Mo, no Gino. I don't think the replacements are as good as those players. I think because of London doing what they're doing, and because of Bristol flying high at the moment, I feel maybe other teams aren't quite as intimidated by them because they go, okay, this isn't a team that's winning everything this season. So that's not the one that we're getting up for as much as we would get up for the London game, let's say. So I think that intimidation factor might not quite be there.
Yeah, maybe so.
They're not the team to beat now, are they? Yeah. They're the team that we would like to beat, but they're not the team. Yeah, I'm saying that. We haven't beat them in a long time. But they're not that team, are they?
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah.
They're like, okay, cool. Yeah. This is Leicester. They're going to finish top 3.
The one tag they've got is reigning champs.
Of course, yeah. And but then that's probably going to go.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But they'll probably get to the trophy final if there's no slip-ups.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because they're not in the same half as London.
No.
They're in the same half of Bristol, so that's who they've got to go up against, really, and Caledonia. So that's kind of if they can make their way through to the trophy final, then it looks like the semi-final. If it pans out, it could be London in the semi-final, it could be Patriots in the semi-final, and then winner of that will probably go and face Leicester. If William Lee's back, Manchester are in that mix still.
Yeah,
for sure, because I think they're in the same side as Leicester. But I just don't think teams are as intimidated this season of them because they're not the top dogs now.
Well, Caledonia certainly weren't, were they, the other week?
No.
So yeah, good. Let's move on. I'm going to talk about the next category, or the next talking point. 2 ways. First of all, congratulations, Andreas Kapoulis, for being named the Kevin Cadle Coach of the Month. And also congratulations for keeping the curse going. If your coach is named Player of the Month, 9 times out of 10, Mr. Routledge, Stan Routledge, if he listens to this, maybe be able to put a stat up on Twitter for us. I don't know if this is true or not. It feels like it's a thing. If you win Coach of the Month, you lose the next game. And that's exactly what happened. Sheffield Sharks came away with the away win in the place where not many teams have gone to take a win. They beat Bristol, and Bristol were at home 76-72. What do we make of that?
Are you telling me Sheffield Sharks went to an away game and took the air out of the arena?
They knocked the wall down. Mind you, they might have felt quite at home in there. They would have been like, "Where's the curtain? There's a wall. There's no curtain." That's my man. Talk to me about the old enemy.
What?
The old enemy, Sheffield.
What about them?
They've done the undoable. They've been one. How many teams have actually won down there now? Is it 2?
Gladiators are the only team unbeaten at home, right?
Right. Okay. I mean, how many teams had gone to Bristol and won? Because obviously, I think
not many have gone to. Well, actually, no, quite a few have gone there.
A lot have gone to Bristol. Yeah. They've got not very many home games left. If you look, down the fixtures. But yeah, Sharks getting the win. What do we reckon, lads?
Yeah, whatever.
It's I didn't I put it in the Discord channel I was watching that game thoroughly because, obviously we're looking at the scout for Sheffield and everything else like that.
Yes.
It was two defensive teams going against each other. It wasn't the most exciting game in the world.
It's not
Paul,
going to be.
stop being polite. It was fucking boring. And a lot of Sheffield games are just that. Now, admittedly, the one here in Manchester was spectacular. The double overtime.
Yes, it was. Yeah, good game though.
A lot of the
They
time,
get over 75 points then.
I sort of watched the roundup of it, but this is how I sort of sit and watch Sheffield most of the time.
One hand on the cheek, yeah.
And then flick to another game that's more interesting.
I've said it before. Sheffield do this amazing job of going to people's arenas and putting the fans to sleep.
Yeah,
tell me about it.
And shutting the fans up though. But they do such a good job at it. And then all of a sudden there'll be like some lightning dunk from Del Pesh or whatever, and then it will really then nail in the coffin type situation.
Yeah,
and it's
what they've always done. It's what they've always done. Admittedly,
very, very well.
They're not the superpower that they were in the 90s and early 90s.
No.
But they've always been that franchise that
they finished second last season.
Yeah. Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one of those. They did well to finish second, but obviously it was one of those seasons where they could have finished sixth or something. Do you know what I mean?
But look at that. It's like, I'm sat there, did they?
Yeah.
Someone said it in the chat. They said in the Discord channel, they said, "Oh, it'd be good to see them get over 75 points." I think they only got like 76, didn't they? And there was like 3 minutes to go in the game or something.
The thing I felt when they came to Plymouth, we were watching it, and I think Patriots went up 7 or 8, and I said out loud, they've got to leave. It doesn't feel like that sort of game, and then it feels like nothing happens, and you look at the scoreboard, and suddenly Sheffield are up 12, and you're like, how? Nothing's happened.
and because they lock in defensively.
Well, I think, Mick Bett put the stat out there. They're the best defensive team in the league.
Very, very then difficult for teams. If you go down by double digits against Sheffield, it's very hard to...
A mountain, then, isn't it?
Around.
Yeah.
Because they just stick a needle in everything and just...
Yeah. The one that I was going to give my man Matt from BBL Daily, I was going to give him a bit of an out with this because I'm a big fan of Mike Miller, and he only played 9 minutes. Obviously, something not quite right there, and without him, that team, like you say, another defensive team, he's a real offensive threat. They kind of struggle a bit without him, but then when I look down at the Sheffield squad, my favourite player to watch at Sheffield is Saeed Nelson. And he was out injured, so I guess that kind of balances it out. So sorry, Matt, I can't help you out. They got done.
They did, and they did it while singing "Baby Shark" do 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 do, which was flipping. That they came out to the Baby Shark soundtrack or song, or whatever it's called.
Brilliant.
Which it's cool. I get it. I don't know if Bristol played that as a joke or Sheffield wanted it, but I think either way, I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I like that. That's good. Obviously, you need to win the game after playing Baby Shark, but that's good. That's good.
But yeah, we got to play them on Wednesday. So they're on their way down to Plymouth for the Wednesday game.
Rumours that Saeed Nelson will be back as well.
The Wednesday night basketball at the Pavilions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I finished work about 4:30, so I should have time for a little nap before I head down. Hopefully. We've covered the games. I think we've covered them pretty well. Let's move on to the big news of the day. And obviously we're recording this Monday night, having the BBL social media lit up with... I was a little bit disappointed that every team was forced to use exactly the same graphic, because that's all you got to see on the stream, except London Lions, of course, who got to use their own graphic, for announcing the new CEO, Mr. Aaron Radin. Am I saying that right? Aaron Radin? Radin? Radin.
Raiden, he's the guy from
Radin.
Mortal Kombat. Raiden, finish him.
Very true. Anyway, new CEO. He has a extensive CV, shall we say, or if he's listening to this, resume. It obviously talks a very good game, which you'd expect. What do we think, fellas? New CEO.
Right.
First of all, did you guys watch the whole interview that he did with Zania?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant interview. Yeah, fantastic.
Ticking all the right boxes, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not going to come on. He's not going to come into an interview and like change the world in one interview. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to.
Okay, I'm just going to say it first. On the whole, I kind of like what he said.
Yeah,
and his resume is incredible, and I think that obviously you're not going to get a guy with that sort of resume for cheap. So you've got to be thinking that they've hired somebody who really does know what they're doing and is going to do great things. The only slight comment I had was, because with all respect in the world, because I think Zania is absolutely brilliant at what she does as a pundit, commentator, and everything else.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, because she kind of read the questions off the iPad, I was a bit like, I wonder who wrote those questions.
Skeptical. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, but I liked it at the end because she threw in the one about the WBBL, because I was interested to hear what he'd say about that, and he kind of skirted around that one pretty well. But no, I mean, I'm down with it. If it's the first time that really in 20 odd years that someone with anywhere near that sort of resume has touched this game. You know what I mean?
We can't 100%. Be we can't be in the BBL talking about we want change, we want this, we want that, more commercial this, more TV rights this, more money here. And then when an impactful change happens like this, poo-poo it, because it can't be poo-poo. It's a big deal. He's a big name in the sort of industry that he's in.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. This is obviously, he hasn't just like got it. It's not like his first day at work today or anything like that.
Well, it's the worst. Going to a lot. I think I get the impression he's been here for a while.
It's the worst kept secret in the BBL.
Undercover and going to games and talking to people.
I'm hoping, and this is what I'm hoping, that he really gets around to see all the teams in their home arenas on game day and in their offices. And this is me saying it from a staff point of view in the BBL. He needs to understand how different it is from one place to the next.
Yes.
Going to Plymouth Pavilions on a Wednesday night, on a Sunday afternoon, going to London on a Friday night or Saturday night or whatever, spending some days with the teams, with the offices, with the staff, with the people behind the scenes, with the volunteers, and really sinking his teeth into what the BBL is
absolutely
currently, not just what he wants it to be. And I think that's important to understand that. But as far as having a figurehead there, someone to ask questions to, someone to take responsibility, someone to be not held accountable for negative as such, but obviously that is part of it.
I'll get to that.
For positive. But look at his resume. He's not going to come in here and do nothing. There will already be plans in place. There's already stuff happening. I've seen more commercially from the BBL this year than I've seen in a long, long time since I've been involved. From the media side of things, from the production side of things.
Yeah.
And I only think it's going to keep growing. But I just want him to understand that everywhere is different.
Well, and I hate the word has been the horror of the. I was going to say the horrible word. The the word that's been misused quite a lot this season so far, it actually applies to what you're saying, is that every single team in the BBL has a different culture.
Yes. 100%. It's very different to go up to London Lions on a Saturday night in the Copper Box, to then jumping in the back of a van with me full of merchandise, heading to Plymouth Pavilions on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Watching Irene sweep the floor. Bless her. She does an amazing job.
Well, help her, for God's sake.
She won't let me, mate. If I go anywhere near that floor while she's sweeping, mate, she'll sweep me up. She's incredible. No, but this is what I'm saying. Everywhere is so different. And I just don't want this to be a focus on the capital or the big cities or, I want it to be a focus on everywhere. I want him in Caledonia for a week. I want him in Plymouth for a week. I want him in Surrey for a week, And it's going to take time, but I just think that's important.
Well, here's what I got. And I tweeted it out on the Below the Rim Twitter, is that we have finally someone to steer the ship, as it were, someone to kind of to be held accountable to a degree, and I'll get to that kind of side of it, but someone to steer the ship effectively, a figurehead. But in terms of being held accountable, things happen in the BBL. Things have happened in the past. Things have happened that we've not liked. Things have happened that we've questioned. And we never get an answer. We never find an answer. There's never anyone to question per se. It's always been kind of swept away, and we've never found out or got to the bottom of any of those aspects. Whereas now, having a figurehead to be held accountable means, to my mind, means that they're going to do a better job. You can't do stuff that's going to be swept under the carpet, because we now have someone that will have to answer the questions to it.
Yeah, but it's also his responsibility to hold others accountable.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very, very important in this aspect. But
then it opens the channel, doesn't it? There's a relay, there's a reaction. We can ask the questions and get answers ourselves as to what's going on. Not obviously this is looking back, looking forward. It feels like we're not going to have these issues. And the resume is like we said, is absolutely fantastic.
But at the same time,
NBA,
Yeah, I'm not expecting him to reply to every tweet that comes his way, because
no, we're talking the bigger things. But
sometimes the BBL is maybe a little too accessible.
Yeah, not for answering questions on things we're not impressed with.
No, but you know what it's like. Like you see people on Twitter, they'll get offended because the BBL haven't written back to them.
Yeah,
shit, you can go message the Premier League and see if they get back to you.
Yeah, good luck.
You know what I mean?
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's my take on it. I think it's incredibly positive, and I look forward to the league once again having a sponsorship, the likes of Dairy Lee, Dunkers, Sainsbury's, NatWest.
But what can we have? What can we have?
Budweiser.
Go on then. Let's give me a sponsor.
Yeah,
give me a sponsor which goes into the British Basketball League right now. That I want it to sound cool as hell.
It's not going to sound cool. Audi.
The Audi BBL.
Yeah.
What about the Brickvit?
Waitrose?
The Brickvit BBL.
What is it you drink? Brewdog. The Brewdog BBL.
Brewdog BBL.
Because it was traditionally beers. It was Carlsberg. It was Budweiser. If you were player of the game, they used to give you Carlsberg cans stacked up as tall as you were.
The Funko Pop BBL.
I'm all in for the Funko BBL.
What is it?
Ring to it.
How long before it's the Disney BBL?
I'm all in for that. The Mickey Mouse BBL.
The Walt Disney
Mickey Mouse BBL. Yeah.
Referees have got to wear Mickey ears.
Yeah.
Me, you ads. Grant, obviously he's not here tonight. I've mentioned that, didn't I? Poor old Grant. He's got to work tonight. But me, you, Grant, on our version of TNT.
Yeah. Yeah.
As if we get a look in, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah. Us is Shaq, Kenny, Charles, and Ernie. Yeah. Who would be who though?
I was just thinking we get some old players back. We get Alan Cunningham back. We get Tony Holly back.
Yeah,
some banterous guys.
Tony Holly's a legend.
Of course.
When it was PJ's 1,000th game, like I randomly sent him like a text message. Got his number from somewhere.
Oh, what?
He was all over it.
Yeah.
He was all over it. Yeah, he was a great dude to speak to.
Yeah.
Tony Dorsey would be good in that situation. He doesn't take any mess.
Yep.
He'd very much be.
Do we have the same studio backdrop as you got right there, perhaps? Like we're all on holiday.
What do you mean backdrop? I'm just at the pool. I'll jump in there in a minute.
Seems to be some beer mats floating in the sky.
Ignore those.
Well, why can I still see your collection of beer mats or whatever?
I don't know. It's a mystery. I'll have to get this hung up properly so I can get some real backgrounds going. Right, fellas. Let's start to wrap things up. Let's give us some of your shouts for BTR team of the week. Fire away. Grant sent some in as well, so I'm intrigued to see what he's come up with.
Sharma, I'm in for Sharma. I'm in for a V, LVC.
Yeah, Douche has had another impressive. Even in a loss, he's been incredibly impressive, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm all in for Del Pesh at Sheffield.
Yeah, I was saying this last week. Malcolm Del Pesh steps up as the better of the two twins, and
Burns.
Marcus steps up this week, and he's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm all in for Burns at Caledonia as well. He was phenomenal.
I'm tapping away. Had you got any of the chuck into the mix there?
I haven't done it. I'll be honest with you, Pabs. I just haven't done it. So
That's
I'm just
all
going to step out. I just haven't had time to do it this week. I've had that much junior basketball over the weekend today.
That's all good, my man. Bailey's the other one I'd chuck in there.
Yeah, possibly.
Because I think he's been exceptional. I'm very impressed with him. Teague was one that Grant mentioned.
Yeah, Teague
I've not really thought of, but
Teague was very impressive, actually. Yeah.
Should we put Teague instead of? Let's put Teague in instead of Bailey.
Yeah, I would say Burns. If you're going to go from Caledonia, Burns, 100%.
So we've
Sharma from London, Teague from Cheshire.
Yeah. So we've got Dusha, Burns, Marcus Del Pesh, Sharma and Teague in the BTR 5 of the week.
Like it. Solid 5. That's a good 5.
And that leads us to the epic battle that's taking place right now for the Predictions League.
Game
Let's
on.
Have a little rattle through what happened.
I think Grant might have taken the lead now.
So myself, Grant, and Nicholson were correct vis-a-vis Giants Lions, with the Lions taking the win. Nix took the game against the Eagles. Grant didn't choose. He zagged on that one, so he drops a point there. Riders, of course, took the win over Surrey, so we all get one there. Flyers came up short. We all picked the Flyers, so none of us get anything there. Myself and Nicholson had the Pats against the Gladiators, so we dropped points there, but Ads and Grant both took the Glads. Myself and Ads had the Scorchers, and we were very wrong. Nicholson and Grant, of course.
It's an interesting week, you know.
Took the Knicks. So Nicholson, you're on 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 right now.
Come at me. Yes. Let's go.
Grant is on 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 for Grant. He has
Suck it, Grant.
stepped in. Ads 23 for Ads. And I am also on 28. So me and Nicholson are tied at the moment at the top. Ads, my man, you need to get some this week.
Big week, Ads.
Starting to drop back a little bit there. Let's have a crack, see what we've got. So we've got, obviously, as you listen to this, it'll be tomorrow, Wednesday night's game, 7:30 tip-off. Patriots at home, Sheffield Sharks, the visitors. What's Grant got for that one? Have you got the
Sharks,
list for
I think.
Grant?
I think he's gone Sharks.
He always sags for us, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I think let's have a quick check.
You check while you're checking that ads, my man.
He's gone.
He's gone
No, yeah, he's gone Sharks. He's gone Sharks.
Ads, my man. Where are you going? Sharks or Pats?
Pats.
Pats for you, Nicholson. Pats.
Yeah, PJ's going fishing, my friend.
That's the sort of thing Josh Beck would say. The trainee. I've changed my mind. I sent text Pabs last night saying, "Have you seen him in his suit? He looks like a trainee
lawyer."
Solicitor. I've changed my mind. He looks like a trainee retail manager.
But I really liked you. Better call Josh. You better call Josh.
Yeah, that's true.
Better call Bet.
So I came up with this thing, Paul. Instead of better call Stall, it's going to be better get bet.
Oh,
but yeah, I'm enjoying looking at his pictures of him in his suit. He's obviously really proud of them because he's posted 3 in the last 2 days.
He's looking very smart, very dapper. I know he's keen. He's keen on commentators having a dress code, but not
BBL. If you do listen to this show, like we've been told that you do, get us on on the screen. The problem being is I don't even own a suit. Yeah. If I put one on, I'll look ridiculous.
I could see you like top half shirt, tie.
It'd be like Charles Barkley, just always looks uncomfortable.
I thought initially Nicholson had said top. I could see it in a top hat, not top hat
and tails.
No, the hat bit I don't mind. It's the whistle and flute and the shirt and tie bit that would bother me. I want to be more like a sort of. Remember when Scoop Jackson just used to things in his street clothes and that? Yeah,
game on. See, I don't even wear a suit to work. And let's be honest, commentating is not work. I won't be wearing a suit.
Do you wear to work, Paul? What you got on now?
It's what he's wearing, yeah. He's in the office today.
Basketball jersey, hoodie, polo maybe, if I'm lucky. Yeah, whatever.
Good. Right, that's that game done. Bristol Flyers.
Well, I'll tell them one thing, though. Yeah. We would be the funniest people on the airwaves.
Certainly would.
Funny
without doubt. There'd be a cult following in no time, I'm telling you.
Cult following. Be like midsummer. Bristol Flyers at home, Surrey Scorchers, the visitors on Friday night. What we got, fellas? They're looking vulnerable now, the Flyers.
As much as I want Lawrence to pop off for 40 and sink the Flyers, I think Flyers are going to take it.
Yeah. What's Grant got for that one?
Flyers.
Ads, where are you going?
Bristol. Flyers.
Yeah. I'm the same. I will go with the
come fly with me.
The home team. Next game up on the that looks like that might be the Sky game. Leicester Riders at home. Caledonia Gladiators to visitors. This one's a little bit tougher to pick, going on the form guide. Ads, my man, where are you going? Glads or one? Riders? Riders at home. Riders at home. Gladiators visiting.
Riders.
You're going Riders. What did Grant go with?
He went with Gladiators, obviously.
I'm going to go Gladiators as well.
Okay, I'm going with Ads. I'm going to go Riders.
Oh, so we're split 50-50 on that one.
Split it in the middle.
I just think the Gladiators have got something about them at the moment. And the Flyers look a little bit shaky as such. We'll see how that turns out. Skip then to the 11th. Sunday afternoon. Plymouth City Patriots in action once again at home. The Surrey Scorchers are the visitors. Ads, my man. What do you fancy on that one?
Don't you me?
Scorchers or who?
Scorchers visiting the Patriots.
Patriots.
With myself and Mr. Nicholson on the broadcast. Where's Grant gone with that one?
He's gone Patriots as well.
Has he?
Obviously, I'm going Patriots.
And
that would mean Patriots, if they go by my predictions, will be 7-6 going into Christmas.
Exciting. Well, I've gone Pats as well, no surprise there. So we sweep the board with the Pats predictions on that one. Also on the Sunday, Caledonia Gladiators in action once again at home. The visitors are the Eagles. Are we all going Glads on that one?
Glad rags are on.
I think that's
the case. That's going to make life really difficult for Newcastle. I'm sorry if we're right.
That's got to be a first on this podcast that we've literally, I've not gone one by one through us there to discover whether or not we're going Eagles. We're so down on the Eagles at the moment. I'm very sorry, Eagles fans, and this is how it is, but we've just gone Gladiators as a whole. Just discounted the Eagles, which may give us some fire for it. Who knows? I
do think, I don't know, I'm just not confident to go with them because I do like that new guy. I think he's going to be okay, I think he's going to be a bit of a monster. But how long it takes him to bed in.
But how long it takes teams to work him out is the other thing as well. Last game then of the weekend, 5:30 tip-off, Cheshire Phoenix at home, London Lions the visitors. Can we see the Lions coming up short in this one, fellas?
I can see the Lions walking into the Cheshire Arena and going, yikes.
Yeah, venue could be an issue. We assumed it was an issue previously when they've drawn. Or didn't they lose to the Sharks in London? Is that right? Or was it I can't remember now either.
Either way, I think London are winning this.
I assumed it was because of the ball. Yeah, we all going Lions. Ads, my man.
Lions. Boo.
Lions. Okay, good. Well, we've got a few different selections on that one, so there's a chance for some of you to make up ground, or even the ones out in front, myself and Mr. Nicholson, to surge ahead. Grant could pick up a couple this weekend if the Sharks
leading
are
from the front. It could be a really interesting weekend actually, because when you think about it, if our predictions go relatively well, Patriots finished 7-6 before Christmas, and in theory, according to all of us, Newcastle and Surrey really get left behind.
Yeah. Well, let's have a little look at the league table before we close things off and just hammer home. London Lions, having played only 10 games, sit on 8-2, 16 points. Flyers are the closest to them. To be fair, Lions, Flyers and Riders are all on 16 points. Lions have 2 games in hand at that situation. Pretty much from top to 8th, it's fairly interchangeable. There's only 6 points separating the positions. We obviously assume the Lions are going to take their games in hand. We don't know that, obviously, for sure. But Flyers, Riders, Sharks in 4th on 7-6. Cheshire Phoenix 7-7 have crept up there this weekend and done quite well for themselves after me saying pretty much the whole show that they've been a little bit inconsistent. But ignore me. What do I know? Gladiators with a couple of wins have got themselves back into contention, and they've only played 10 games as well, so that's a positive for them. They're 5-5 on 10 points. Giants have dropped a couple. Were already had 5 wins, and themselves are 5-5, same as Caledonia. Patriots are still there, having played 11 games, 5-6, with a chance, like we've just said, to take it to 7-6 potentially over the weekend if things go their way. Maybe a tall order, we'll find out. And like you say, Eagles, Scorchers, already 6 and 8 points adrift. Needing to pick up wins, otherwise things get a little bit out of hand for them. That said, last season, Patriots, not in a dissimilar situation, made a couple of signings, boom, hit the ground running in January and managed to nick that 8th spot. So,
who's the last game of the season once again?
Yeah, stranger things have happened, but
Newcastle and Patriots.
I'll be honest, and again, this is going to sound like an awful dig at the Eagles fans. I would be less surprised if it was Scorchers and whoever's in that 8th spot. If it was Eagles and whoever's in that 8th spot, I'm more surprised, I think. As it stands at the moment. Cheers, fellas. Leave me out to dry there.
We gotta love the game of basketball.
Well, there we are. That just about wraps things up. Thank you very much, Ads, my man, for coming on. It's been a busy week for you. I appreciate your time.
It's been a very busy week, and I appreciate you appreciating my time.
Nicholson, you don't have anything better to do, so, cheers for coming on that.
I appreciate you appreciating Ads, who appreciates you to appreciate me for my time, and I appreciate that Grant's not here.
Yeah, all right, Grant. All right, fellas, until next week. Thanks for at home for listening. Take it easy. We'll speak to you soon.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.